Former CBO Director Douglas Holtz-Eakin, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to stay on Trump's rally in Racine. The supporters there say they want to be a part of history. First to you, Judy. Former President Trump really hammering Biden on rampant government overspending. The IMF warns it's igniting a record U.S. fiscal crisis. And Trump is now saying that Biden is causing record inflation. Judy, take that on.
Well, it's so clear how President Trump's message is resonating with that crowd, because he's talking to people where they live and how they live. And yes, the government overspending, the Biden administration deserves to be hammered over that. This fiscal stimulus is a way of sprinkling money around, increasing pressure on prices because it increases demand for resources, human and material. And unless you're one of the beneficiaries, if you're big government, big business, or big investor, Bidenomics works for you. President Trump is connecting with the people who are suffering the consequences of that overspending, who have to incur the ravages of inflation. And then the double punishment is then they have the high interest rates that prevent them from getting a mortgage to get a new house. They get hammered on credit card debt. And so they're doubly being punished for problems they didn't create.
Yeah, so what Judy just said, Douglas, Trump just saying the real inflation rate, to Judy, what Judy is saying, is likely at 20% or 40% when you factor in cost of living, consumer prices, higher interest rates, higher mortgages. Trump is saying Biden and Democrats are, quote, fascists, that they're demolishing the Constitution with executive actions and spending outside Congress. By the way, I have to say, Trump gained 2 points on Biden in a new NPR Marist poll. They're now tied at 49%. And Trump is leading Biden in the swing state of Pennsylvania. What do you say to what Trump is saying, Douglas?
I think it's pretty much a done deal that Trump will win on any economic matters. I mean, people make up their minds 6 months before any election, and the records are real clear. And the sitting president, Mr. Biden, his record's dismal. And the policies are to blame. The American Rescue Plan, the $2 trillion stimulus in 2021 ignited this inflation. There has been continuous, excessive government deficits, even though the unemployment rate's been below 4%. That's fueling inflation, makes the Fed's job harder, puts pressure on the dollar. None of this is good news for the average American, and all of it is avoidable, self-inflicted errors. So, he just has to read him the facts, and it's a very simple case to make.
Yeah, so Peter Marisi, Judith, just put out a story that basically what Biden and Democrats have been doing is destroying the U.S. dollar dominance, that Americans will have to pay $850 billion more in higher cost of living, higher taxes, higher interest rate. Trump is saying Jimmy Carter looks brilliant, a, quote, a genius by comparison to Biden.
Well, when you put at risk our most powerful instrument of soft power, which is the dominance of the dollar, you are really playing with fire. This is something that we need to rely on. We want the dollar to be the most trusted currency in the world. And our rivals, in particular our enemies, are really talking up this idea that with the U.S. lack of fiscal sustainability so obvious to everyone, that the idea of having faith in the future viability of the United States is being called into question. My background was to study the internal monetary and financial system of the Soviet Union. In 1989, I wrote a book called The Coming Soviet Crash, which shocked even me, but this country was going bankrupt. Now, the Soviets tried to cover it up, but 2 years later, they did go bankrupt. And the fact that we're so open about it, so transparent, and everyone can see these future projected deficits approaching $2 trillion, that's not solving it.
Yeah, it's not solving it. And by the way, Neil Ferguson, who's did a column. We're going to get into that later. Douglas, there is greater financial strain on consumers. Primerica just did a survey, found nearly half, 46% of middle-class workers are cutting out or slashing their retirement savings funds and contributions because of the high cost of living. U.S. retail sales barely rose in May. The prior months revised lower. Consumer confidence, was down. But Kamala Harris is saying, you just have to wait for Biden's policies to take effect. You don't have to just sit and wait. And KJP, the press secretary, is basically saying no to the question whether housing costs are going to come down. She's saying no.
Well, I mean, the consumer is a real concern to me right now. For quite a while, it carried the U.S. economy, but since January, there has been zero growth in real disposable income. There is no way to generate additional growth if you can't have people's incomes rising, and this is the Achilles heel of the current situation. The American household is strapped, and they're not going to be able to continue the spending they've been carrying the economy with. Business investments have been weak. If it weakens further, we have real problems. So, you can keep waiting, but I think the only thing you're waiting for is further trouble.
Got it. Douglas Holtz-Eakin, Judy Shelton, thank you so much for joining us. And look